I think that we talked a little bit earlier about credit, and everything that we sit on or we stand on, somebody had to design it, and somebody needs the credit for it. And before, whether black, white, indigenous, brown, Asian, you weren't getting these credits. So design has always been here, but it's been left out of the conversation, because if you don't need to credit anybody, why even talk about it? And the problem is that the people that are designing these things are human beings. They want to be credited. They want to be acknowledged in some sort of fashion. Okay, sure, NDAs and contracts and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, after everything that has happened, people understand that people need to be credited. And to be credited means that you did something. What you did is, if it's in the design space, well then design is here. And wow, that's a really nice chair. Well, that's designed by XYZ. Wow, these light systems is amazing. These cameras are awesome. Who designed it? And the fun of talking about designers now and saying, oh, did you know that this particular designer who made this tripod here, XYZ? No way, really? And giving that space for us to be celebrated, whether it's making shoes like myself, or making, equipment, or anything of the sort, it's a beautiful thing to be included. If inclusive is a new word of the day, right? Absolutely. We're definitely not there yet, but what is happening is that, I said earlier, if it's not from the kindness of your heart, then your bottom line, and that's what it looks like now, because your bottom line is rising, and you're wondering why, and sitting down, well, by golly, how is this happening? Oh yeah, boss, it's because we added another complete sector that was marginalized before, and now our numbers are going, really, John? That's amazing. This is what's happening. This is what's happening, where it's kind of like the bottom line is rising. Everyone's excited about inclusion all of a sudden. So we're excited about inclusion because we're being included. The business sector is being excited about inclusion because the bottom line's growing, and they look good, and they check a box. So all of these things are happening, and it's just kind of like we were the evil guys before, but now we are the halo. We have these halos all of a sudden. And here's a halo for you, one for you, one for you, one for you. And personally, I don't mind how it's going as long as it's going. And there's a lot more to go, right? We're at the beginning of this thing. I always say that, voting rights was ugly, right? It was in blood, right? And right now, corporations are just trying to figure themselves out. One day you're okay, you don't have to do anything for anybody, right? Bottom line. And then the following day, you have to know exactly people's pronouns. What? You have to know and not offend black people, not offend Asians all of a sudden. That they were an afterthought. You have to think of Indians, indigenous. You have to think of all these the next day. So they're getting in trouble, of course, because this is hard to do, to change from being business as usual to now having to include everybody at the same time. If not, and if you don't do it right, you're getting canceled, right? So this is a hard concept. This is a really hard concept. So it's going to take time for it to smooth out, and people doing this thing for the right reasons, bottom line as well, like doing it all together in a nice cohesive package where nobody gets hurt or gets canceled, but everybody eats and everyone's inclusive. I think because of my background, my mother was a seamstress. She was also a caterer. She was also an artist. My father was a jewelry maker, sketch artist. My brother Ro, sketch artist, sculptor. My sister, voiceover artist. My other brother, furniture designer. And we started a children's book, which he illustrated, and I helped him do the vectoring for. I come from a family where I've always said, as a multidisciplinary designer, the reason why I'm that and I have so many things to offer the world is simply because I come from a place that's not afraid to express themselves creatively in all of these disciplines. They used to always say, George, pick a lane. And I'm like, no, because I thought that everybody did it this way. I came from a family that did so many things, and this is how we did it. So then you leave your house, you expect that everybody else does the same thing that way. And no, I just do this, but then I get contract that, and then he does that, and he does that. And I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. I thought you did the photography, but you built the whatever you did first, and then you did the videography for it, and then of course you did the copy for it, right? And then you did, so what I bring to the table is not only a way of thinking, but a way of design that brings in so many different creative disciplines and acumens together to give a product. So then when you see something that I build, it's a 360 of a vision. And it's pure and it's true because it comes from a source, one source, and not 3 or 6, 7 different minds with negotiations, with, changes here and changes and ego, right? So you cut that out and then you have a pure product. Of course, you can't do everything by yourself, but what you can do is have some sort of a foundation or a pure source of where it's coming from. And I think that's what I bring to the table. And that's what I'll bring, what I'll bring for the rest of my life. I think that it's already started to change simply because you write your own rules when you have control of your own social media. And taking a product and putting it out there and you're getting hundreds of thousands of eyes immediately, where back in the day, that wasn't the case. You're doing email blasts, you know what I mean, to random emails that you got from your friend's job at the whatever, and you hope that it landed. This future now, telling a story of all of us. I always go back to inclusion because it's telling a story of all of us now instantly without gatekeepers or people trying to hold you down. That was so easy to do back in the day. A store can hold you down if you present yourself and they're like, no, thank you. And you're like, I was deserving, but whatever, that's okay. Now you don't have to leave it to them to decide your future. Starting your own, obviously your own social media, your own web presence, your own e-commerce, starting these things for yourself, you're already reaching out to thousands, and if not hundreds of thousands, when you get better at, flipping and posting and all these other things. This is the future. This is the future, being able to tell our own stories, uninhabited by the BS that we've had to go through. Gatekeepers basically need a new job. Basically. Gatekeepers have no job, and it sucks for them because, man, their only thing that they could do in their lives is they had like kind of a reflex to close doors. That is gone. Now what do? Right? And you'll see one in a crevice here or there, you know what I mean? Using that reflex, but it's just kind of like, understand that they're closing a door with no house. There's no more foundation to this door. We're going over, around it, through the side, you know what I mean? And the windows. It's just kind of like, and one last thing I'll say about homes and about houses, the reason why I could express myself so easily from what I'm talking about and not think of any repercussions is simply because I, as a person of color, have been operating outside on the lawn. I've never been invited into the house in the first place. So you can't kick me out of a place that you've never invited me in the first place. So I'm on the lawn, I'm operating fine. And, do I now peek over and they're like, is he still on the lawn? Sure. But the thing is that that's the power of being an entrepreneur. That's the power of technology. That's the power of all these things, because now there's no more gatekeepers. You could say what you want, express yourself. And most importantly, if you have something to offer, you have great design or great product, you could literally put it out there without having any naysayers say what, and so on and so forth. So I think that's where we're going. That's where the change is going to be. It's changing already, but there's going to be one day when there's 100% no walls of any sort, right? Hi, my name is George Sully. I'm here at Elevate, enjoying myself, and here to talk about inclusion and radical retail.